Okay, now I should be streaming. I don't know if I was or wasn't, but technically I should be streaming now. I'm not sure if the audio is okay or not, but I'm just gonna go. Alright, so I'm working on this map that I started like 2 days ago, and figured I would, work on it on the live stream. I want to try out a weekday type stream today, see how it goes. Oh, hello. Dude, the Void God, you're always first. How do you do that? That's kind of crazy. Vincent Fox, hello. How you guys doing? Something that kind of sucks about YouTube's streaming thing is I don't know where to put the category for my videos for streaming because there's no art category. Kind of sucks. So right now it's like, I don't know how people even find these things. You're making wonderful art. Cool. I guess. If people like it, that's cool. Speed. Yeah, I wish I was faster at everything. I feel like I'm slowing down with age, man. The older you get, the slower you get. Yeah, I didn't know that they didn't have an art category. Like, kind of like makes me feel really, like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel good to know that there's no art category. Like, how do art people stream then? Like, they just like go under entertainment or something? I don't know. If I could do it, I would put it under game art or something like that, but yeah, they really need to figure out a new system for artists to get on the streams. I feel like today I'm actually going to be able to get a lot of work done because I won't be worried about chat this time too much. I feel like last time I was just too bogged down by answering questions and stuff. Hello, Ankin from Sweden. You're doing well? I hope you're doing well. I'm actually doing really good today. The weather's permitting for streaming. My camera runs really hot, so if it's like too hot in my room, like I don't feel like I want to burden my camera with the heat. So today's overcast and it's nice and cool. So I'm hoping my camera doesn't just die out on stream. Man, I wish I could go to Sweden, guys. Don't tell me. If if I could go anywhere in the world right now and just go out into the wilderness and draw, it would be Sweden. Go to Switzerland and the Alps and check all that stuff out. Hello, Adam Kovacs, Noah Elshemi. Elshemi? How's it going, guys? You guys have like such strange names. So I'm working on this map that I started like 2 days ago. I was taking a break from my Elden Ring book and I wanted to work on something that I do just for fun, like for me. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Torsten says, I found with my own art I've gotten way worse at multitasking. It's hard to even listen to intricate music that I like while drawing. Now I just listen to like electronic ambience. It gets hard, you say, to multitask? Like, multitasking is impossible, especially with art. Like, right now I'm drawing and I'm reading chat, and it's like, you have to do one or the other. Multitasking is a myth. It's not real. You can't do two things at once. You gotta pick and choose. But if you're talking about just like trying to get a lot of stuff done like as quickly as possible, well, you're just, yeah, it's something you gotta practice, you know. Not everyone has the bandwidth for that kind of stuff, you know. I get really like bogged down with trying to do too much all the time. Noah El Shemi Larson is my name. Yeah, I've never heard a name like that. That's really cool. Like, I always wonder about how people pick their usernames. Like, my username has no real cool story behind it, so when I hear a username that stands out, I'm like, how'd you come up with that? Kevin McLeod, watercolor or gouache? Well, for this map, I'm actually going to use both. So today I might bust out some gouache, because I'm going to do like a glaze to really darken everything out, and then I come in with white gouache on top of stuff to like highlight some of the snow and stuff like that. Mason says, I love your art. Thank you. I love that you love my art. I wish I loved my art as much as you love my art, but I kind of always struggle trying to figure out how to feel about my art. Are you on the autism spectrum? Well, I'm not officially, I don't have an official diagnosis because I'm an adult and I never got tested for it. But based off of what I hear from people and looking into it in a very autistic way, I got obsessed with like what the symptoms are and everything, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of click some of the boxes. And since people think I am anyway, it's like might as well just kind of go with it. But I don't even know for sure. Maybe you can, like, maybe people can pick up on it better than I can, but my hunch is that I am. So I just kind of don't fight it, you know? Because you have to pretend to be somebody else if you're on the spectrum. You have to pretend to be normal all the time, and that's really like exhausting. So I just kind of, I embrace the autism, you know? Rachel Thackeray, hello from Western Australia. May I say that your artwork is so incredibly beautiful. You have such God-given talent, I guess? Yeah, talent. Yeah, well, talent, I don't know if I believe talent is a thing. I think people have a natural inclination to be drawn. Like, some people just enjoy doing it a lot, so they do it a lot. And because they do it so much, they get good at it. And that's kind of what I think talent is. So if you like doing something, you usually get really good at it, you know? You're an Aussie, El Shemi? Dude, my Australian brethren. Ah, it feels so good to have people from Australia on here too. You guys have the best accent, by the way. I wish I could talk like an Aussie. I know you guys have really cool lingo too. Modern metaphysic, live streams now. Oh man. Yeah, we're branching out. I kind of felt like the first one wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, so I'm gonna give it another shot. And even if it goes horribly, horribly wrong, I'm glad I got to, you know, talk to some people that exist in the world that enjoy the same things I do. You're very wise, sir. Torsen, thank you. I'm actually pretty oblivious to what's going on in the worlds, but I spend a lot of time thinking about things, since I think artists have a lot of time on their hands. So when they're drawing, they have nothing else to do but let their mind wander about thinking about life and stuff. So I think that's what happened to me. I just I get in this weird zone where I start thinking about stuff, you know. Wait, El Shemi, you're Swedish? Oh man, now I'm confused. Chat confuses me sometimes. Sorry, El Shemi. I thought you were Aussie from your last comments. I was like, keeping track of stuff is hard. Okay, I'll try not to read other people's conversations here. Hi from France, Turoid. Oh my god, Turoid. See, these names, they always make me think about stuff. Like, I have a nickname that has a similar sound as Turoid. So how is it in France right now? Is it what's the weather like over there? I always picture it being rainy over there for some reason. Velrock Art Miniatures. I've never seen pens like that. Is it like a watercolor pen that the map looks incredible? Oh, thanks. Yeah, this pen is just like a... Okay, it has like a reservoir... Oh, wait, hold on. I just hit my camera, sorry. Okay, it has like a reservoir thingy. Like, you can put water in here. And what I do is I don't actually put any water in it. I just dip it and use it like a dip pen. And then I have some watercolor that I'm using right now. I'll show you guys what I'm using. And I dip it, and then I kind of like selectively have enough water on my tip, and I use it that way. But you can do all kinds of stuff with this. So it's summer in France right now. Okay, I see that. I see how it's the exact opposite of what I was thinking. That's cool. It's usually the case. I hope it's been a good summer so far. I'm looking forward to my summer season job, but right now I'm in between work, so I'm able to work on the weekdays on stuff like this. Noah says, in Sweden it's 24 degrees. I got sick on the bus, so I walked home in the countryside heat. Painful. Ooh, that does sound pretty painful. I actually like running in the heat. For some reason, I enjoy putting myself through that kind of torture for some reason. So I do like training in the summer for like long distance running, because I do ultra marathons. And the heat, putting yourself through that kind of stress, kind of builds you up, you know. It makes like a normal day feel like really, really easy. And especially since my mind gets really, crazy, it helps keep my mind in check. So basically any form of exercise really helps with the mental issues. And you don't do gymnastics all day trying to get your mind regulated. Like, exercise does that for you. I know not everyone has like the ability to exercise, or maybe they don't have the time, but if you make the time, it's probably worth it. It beats going to the doctor all the time, that's for sure. I think somebody once told me that like if you really want to avoid having to deal with any health related issues, like the first thing you need to do is eat well, exercise regularly, and meditate if you can, like learn how to meditate. I think those things can really help you avoid a lot of issues in life. But I think one of my biggest issues in life has been developing a healthy relationship with myself. Like, I try to be nice to everybody I meet, but I'm not super nice to myself all the time. I feel like I'm too hard on myself sometimes. Where's the treasure? Hello, William. So this map, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in here, and I don't know if I can explain it all right now, but there is no treasure. It's really it's called the realm of Nasos, and there's these orbs that have deformed the land in some places. Like there's one here, there's one over there, and yeah, I kind of just created a central theme, and then I kind of build a map around it. For me, this is like doodling. Like, this is kind of like mindless doodling for me, and it lets me come up with ideas for my world building. Like, I like the idea of colossal skeletons just like laying on the landscape. And it's really stress-free. Like, I don't have to think too much about it. Doodling is like, I think someone making a video saying that doodling is an art, you know, that when you're doodling, you're just kind of mindlessly creating something. So it's not art. It's kind of, I don't agree with that, but it made me think about how much I love doodling. Like, when you're intentionally creating a design, you're using a lot more horsepower. So it's kind of nice to not have to do that all the time. And I want to do a whole sketchbook that's just like these crazy weird maps. because I enjoy doing them. I just don't have much time to do them. I'm probably gonna end up like losing a lot of detail on one of the steps here, and you guys will see how I kind of age paper as well. So if you're lucky, I'll get to that point on the stream. Do you enjoy working? Vincent says. I've met a few people who are enjoying doing what they are paid for. I think the social side of the modern workspace, especially the office, may be really unhealthy. Yeah, I've had trouble keeping jobs with the way my mind works. I think what happens with me is like I use a lot of mental energy just trying to deal with like social conventions, like saying hi to people at the right time. Small talk is the worst. Like I don't like doing small talk, so sometimes I just bypass it and people get angry at me because like you're supposed to say this, not that. And there's all these rules that no one ever, like my mind just doesn't register any of it. So I have issues with coworkers. I get into like really dumb arguments because I just don't know any better. And so I can usually do the job. Like the job ends up being the easy part of going to work, you know? It's dealing with all the social things that kind of messes you up. So like I'll get invited to like a party that has like coworkers in it, and I'm like, I don't want to go to that. So if you miss enough of them, they're like, oh, you're just antisocial, you hate us and stuff like that. And it just becomes this really weird battle to do all that and the job itself kind of doesn't matter, you know. And that's why I don't like working normal jobs that much, or I've had struggles dealing with all that, you know. Noah Shimmy, how to stop trying to make a perfect sketchbook. Also how to stop jumping between learning stuff and art too quickly. I struggle with it. Making a perfect sketchbook? I don't think that's even possible, man. Making a perfect sketchbook is, yeah, like what does that even mean? You have to really define what perfect is and realize it's impossible. The sooner you can let go of perfection, I think, the more you can get to the creativity, you know? The creativity doesn't require perfection. It just requires you to want to make something. And why would you even want a perfect sketchbook, you know? Like, that would be weird. Like, no flaws whatsoever. Like, should just really think about what that even means. I don't think that's really a thing. Perfect. Perfect is a myth as well. But yeah, jumping around from stuff to stuff is something I do still. Like, I have trouble. I get tired of doing the same thing over and over. And sometimes I force myself to do the same thing over and over, thinking that it'll help me deal with that. But really, you just kind of, I don't fight it anymore. I just do whatever I want now with art, because if I'm not enjoying it, it kind of shows, you know. But if I'm enjoying it, like I lose track of time and stuff. Rochelle says, what GSM paper are you working with? Oh, yeah, okay, so this paper is, the reason I made this map was I just wanted to test out this paper. So let me show you the back of it. This was like the first test I did without, on the surface of the paper, this is how it came out. And I bought this paper online. It's like a hand pressed or whatever from India, I think. And I wanted to test out, I don't even know what GSM it is, honestly, I forget. But I tested it out and I didn't like the way it worked. So on this side, oh crap, it's upside down. On this side, I gessoed it, and I like the way it looks now. Like, I like the grain of it, and I like when it's gessoed, it works really well. Like, you can tell if you don't gesso it, this is what happens. It looks like this on the edges, but I kind of intentionally left it like that because I want it to look like that. So yeah, that's why I even made this map. I was just testing out the paper because I'm gonna make a whole sketchbook out of this paper, and I wanted to see how it worked and everything. So that was the whole point of me even doing this. That, and I just kind of wanted to do a map. But Glute says, are there any orbs in the sea? Yeah, I was thinking about that. I wanted to have like a big orb, like whirlpool or something like that. But I ended up not adding it because there's already enough stuff going on in the map, and I was like, I don't really want to clutter it any more than it already is. It's one of those things, after the fact, I might add one I kind of want to add like something here, like a sea monster or something. Why is it relatable? I don't know. What? I'm not sure what you mean. I know you've said in videos that you mostly do artwork for your own pleasure as a hobby, but would you be interested in a paid job collaboration? Sorry, I know it's probably not the best place to ask. No, it's not. It's no problem. I've thought about doing like collabs and stuff, and a lot of people ask me if like they want me to work on this or that or do commissions, and to be honest, like I've kind of just left all that behind me, you know. Like I spent a lot of time doing stuff like that, and I think one of the reasons why I don't do it anymore is because it's just taxing on my mind. I don't have the bandwidth for it anymore these days. But I do like the idea, you know, like I would love to design miniatures, you know. I like working on them, but I don't like the whole dealing with everything else. Like, just if I could just sit down and draw stuff for miniatures, like I would, but dealing with all the business and all these other factors is what gets me to say, nah, maybe not right now. And I leave it open, you know, open-ended. I try to tell people like I'm open to it in the future, maybe, but that's really just my way of saying I don't really know if I'm into that or not. But I appreciate that people want to work with me. I just don't. It's like working a normal job, you know, dealing with all the social aspects and all that stuff. That's why I do what I do. I keep it, I'm a lonesome guy. I do it all by myself. And that's, it really does kind of hinder you, but it's the only way I know how to function right now. It's kept me alive so far, so. Fall out of the window says, hello, Mr. Artist Man. Love your Elden Ring stuff. Do you think there is an age where it is just too late to start drawing, painting if you have absolutely zero prior experience? I don't think there's an age, dude. If you want to draw, there's no requirements. Like, all you need is like some oh wait, God, not again. Okay, so all you need is like a piece of paper, a pencil, and your mind. That's it. You don't have it. You don't need anything else. That's the beauty of it. If you have something you want to put down, that's all you need. So unless you're like living on the streets and you can't afford, dude, even if you live on the streets, you can find a pencil on the street probably. I've seen a bunch of them just lying around. And if you don't have a pencil on the ground, all you need is like some mud or some ochre that you can find by a river. You know, you can't cut. If you're a creative person, you'll find a way, is what I'm saying. What are those round rock spheres on the map? They look interesting. These things, these little spheres. Yeah, that's the whole point of this map. I needed a hook, and the hook is there's orbs that are deforming the landscapes. So some of them are like kind of black hole type situations where everything around them is starting to crumble into them and stuff like that. And it just kind of gave me, you know, something to work off of. That's the whole point of them. It's like they're the mystery of the map. You have to figure out what's going on with the orbs. But yeah, I'm not saying I figured all this stuff out and there's like a big story behind them or anything. This is just me kind of doodling. Yeah, you're never too old to learn anything. Rochelle's got it. Well, if you're open to it, reach out to me. You won't have to worry about any drama or deadlines or business stuff with me. Yeah, no, I've actually checked out your stuff. I think I'm subscribed to you too. Velrock. Like I said, I always leave the door open for people, and maybe one day I'll come to my senses and start collaborating with people more. I might do an interview soon. I've gotten close to figuring that out. Nina says, my God, a live stream. I found your channel because of your Elden Ring sketchbook. I love your art. You inspired me to pick up my sketchbook again. Please keep making videos. Love from Germany. Oh, hello, Germany. Nina, yeah, a lot of people found me because of my Elden Ring sketchbook, so I'm pretty sure 95% of my subscribers are just people that found my sketchbook, my Elden Ring book. Realistically, I think I have like maybe 1,000 people that followed me before that or something like that, about there. So most people do know me from that. Velrock says I'm never good enough, but I've been doing it professionally for 4 years now. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, art and a lot of just normal jobs, it's not about being good enough, you know. Sometimes it's more about like how you deal with people. It's about who you know, not what you know sometimes. And that's the problem with me is like I don't really build you know, contacts and stuff like that. I kind of kept to myself most of my life. I think YouTube is the only thing I ever did that kind of like helped me branch out of all that kind of thinking. It's opened me up to be more collaborative, but I'm still fighting it. Fallout says there's a giant ass dead man in the mountain range. Yeah, this one of the colossal dudes. Like, so what I was thinking was there used to be these big gods that ran the world, and then one day something happened because of the orb things, and they all died out, and so now they leave behind the remnants of. Because I always thought it'd be weird. Like, imagine if like a god died on Earth and like the corpse, like it was just laying on the ground and it started to decay like a person would. Like, could you imagine what that would do, like to the landscape, what it would smell like and everything? So yeah, I was thinking about like gods being earthly and just dying on Earth. So it's these ideas that kind of help me with my world building. I'm not. I mean, I've been a pro. I don't think I feel like an amateur, but I mean, it all depends, you know. Like some people can be really good at drawing maps or doing you know, characters, and maybe they suck at drawing buildings or something like that. You know, it's all relative. So being a pro these days, like I'm kind of a generalist, but I don't feel like I'm a pro at anything necessarily. But yeah, it's all just semantics, really. Fall Out of the Window says, I have watched Elden Ring Sketchbook Part 1 and 2 like in the double digits of oh my god. Does it really have replayability? I've heard that from some people that they like fall asleep to it because my voice is soothing to them or something weird. And I don't know what it is, but I don't know if I could watch it that many times. I guess some people really enjoyed it, so I'm glad. I think part 1 has like 1 million views now, and I'm like, I didn't think I would ever make a video that has that many views. Like, that just seems ridiculous to me. But then again, some videos have like almost 1 billion views, so yeah, I guess it's not that big a deal these days. I personally... Oh wait. The social networking is the worst part about having your own business. I also am not great at reaching out to people. Yeah, it's for someone like me, dude, it's like the hardest thing in the world. Like, I'd rather go run 100 miles than have to go talk to my boss about why I'm having trouble or something like that, you know? So that should put things into perspective of how difficult and how exhausting it is to manage social issues, you know? But yeah, it's most people don't have to deal with that part of it, you know? So they enjoy their jobs and they like talking to people and making contacts and building their careers that way. It's not the only way. There's other ways. You just got to be creative. The cool thing about me is I got lucky. I have creativity on my side. Yeah. I personally, Vincent Fox says, I personally don't think that there's such an age where you just can't learn something new. That's why we people are so incredible. We may get smarter even with age just by accumulating experience. Yeah, good point, Vincent. See, you guys are wise too. You guys have wise ideas and thoughts. That's why I like doing these streams. I get such insight from people. Follow the Window says, I guess there is no age where it's too late, but I feel like, and I may be wrong, but if you don't start as a kid, you have very little foundation to stand on. Well, I mean, if you're trying to be a professional, you know, maybe that's the question. Like, when is a good time to realize, you know, you're too late to the game? I still don't think it's about that, you know? To me, the foundational thing is, do you want to make art? And why did it take you so long to think that way, you know? Maybe there's something about you that says, like, you really just don't enjoy the process, or maybe there's aspects of it that you do like and you haven't really honed in on what your thing is. You know, there's a lot of things going on there. I'm no psychotherapist or anything, but I've thought about these things a lot, and I wonder as well, you know, why is it that some people really just can draw for hours and hours and other people can't, you know? They'd rather just go to, what do you call it? One of the AIs, and they, like, with a click of a button want to create, but they don't enjoy creating. They want to create an image, but they don't actually enjoy the process of creating it themselves. They want someone else to do it for them, you know? They have ASMR energy. Oh geez, I've heard ASMR energy before. I've heard that. Do people, when they do ASMR, is that intentional, or do they just naturally have a soothing atmosphere, aura about them? I don't feel like I have the natural. I'd have to, like. Problem with me is I would try to be ASMR if I did a video about it and be like, this is ASMR, and it would come off probably all cringe and stuff. So. Deserved the 1 million view. Somebody made a prediction on that video when it first came out. They were like, this should have at least 1 million views. I was like, I hope it doesn't get that crazy, because it's really just a journal, like, chill out. And he got it right. He was like, people actually enjoyed it. I still don't understand, but you have a calmness to you that's very relaxing. Cool. I think it's because I'm stressed out right now, and I don't think that way. I think I create anxiety rather than soothe people, you know? I'm, like, anxious all the time, so it's really hard to think that way. Calm your... I was here before 1 million ticket right here. You're one of the OGs, El Shemi? Well, I'm gonna give back to the OGs, trust. I have ideas of how to give back to the community. I just need to, like, get in that mindset again. I had this idea that, like, I wanted to make a copy of my Elden Ring book and give it away as a thank you to the people who have supported me. I don't think I'll ever sell it, though. A path trampled by deer. That's such a crazy name. Wow, that map is fantastic. Thank you. I mean, it's getting there. I didn't actually expect to do this much work on it, but I'm turning it into a thing. Dude, yes. Oh, wait, no. But it's not just the Elden Ring stuff. Your art is amazing. You work with so little and make so much out of it. In the end, it comes down to putting in the effort, and you inspired me to do that again. Yeah, that's the cool thing about art, man. You don't need much to do it. Although art supplies are still ridiculously expensive if you do buy stuff. I was looking at trying to get some new supplies, and I was like, do I really need this, though? I'm always wondering, should I upgrade? I think watercolors is the one thing I probably need to upgrade, is like the actual... Winsor and Newton make some pretty good ones that I kind of been thinking about getting. The brain can form new pathways and also form new cells, never too late to learn. Although we are different and learn differently, have different methods, what is best for us. Yeah, the brain is amazing. You'd be surprised. I actually had a pretty bad brain injury. I used to ride my mountain bike out on my property, and I forgot to lock one of the front wheels. You know, they have like these little lock mechanisms on them. And I just forgot to put it on. So I did a wheelie on my way down a hill, and I went Superman face first into the ground. Ended up with a really bad concussion, and lost track of time, and I I wasn't the same after that accident, I'll tell you that for sure. So it's one of those things. You got to take care. You got to wear a helmet, guys. That's all I'll say. Hey, you drop this king. I think that's a crown, huh? I'm no king, man. Come on. I started drawing when I was 20. I'm 25 now, and I am a decent chunk of money from my art now. Oh, you have a decent, not enough to live off of, but decent enough. Just be disciplined with practice and find your niche. Yeah, a lot of things require a certain amount of discipline. It doesn't matter if it's art or anything else. You get what you put into it, you know. And I think that's why people who trade on Wall Street, like, they have the discipline to, like, you know, look at quarterly earnings and do the math on what's going on in the business, and like they look at things like return of interest, and they look at the macro and the micro, and they think of all these things because they're interested in all that stuff, so they do it all the time and they get good at it. That's how you get good at anything, I guess. But yeah, it all depends on what you want. You know, you have to really decide on what you want. If art is a thing you want to do, you have to, like, really commit and decide that is something you want to do. The worst thing is you commit to something and you realize you never wanted it in the first place, and you don't know why you're doing it. That's the worst thing that can happen to you, is you delude yourself into believing you want to do something you don't want to do. That's a fate you don't want to end up with. Your videos inspired me to grab some watercolors to make my GM journal. Pop. So inspirational, I love it. A GM journal? That's like a game master journal, I guess. A lot of people think I do D&D, and I've never even played D&D. I like the idea of it. I don't have the IQ for it, I think. I'm too dumb. Like, I don't think I like the idea of D&D, but I've never actually tried it. One of the things, I kind of don't want to play Baldur's Gate because I don't think I'd be any good at it either. But maybe I'll give it a shot someday. Fall Out of the Window says, was the dragon skeleton also a god or something else? Yeah, I mean, the thing that sucks about the skeleton, now that I think about it, is the dragon skeleton isn't to scale compared to the humanoid skeleton, because ideally it would be like maybe 3 times as big as this, or 4 times, and it wouldn't fit on the map. So it's more of a, in theory, you know, it used to be one of the colossal gods. Shadow of the Colossus and Ico and games like that, like God of War, like, I like the idea of really, like, ridiculous scale and stuff like that. So I try to, like, think about how I can incorporate big scale into my worlds. Torsen Steinka? Yeah. What advice would you have for finding the motivation to draw something every day? I've heard of people that, like, draw something new every day. Like, they try to keep a daily routine going. I did that, and I might do a video about how that went, but it's like brushing your teeth. Like, sometimes you don't want to brush your teeth, right? And you know you should, or you kind of need to, right? But there's this thing that nags at you that says, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll avoid today. And as soon as you start thinking something that you need to do every day, if that's like something you want to do, obviously you don't have to draw every day, but if that's like a goal, you have to think of it as like brushing your teeth, you know? You have to think of it as being that important, and you have to think about it that way. Otherwise, it's like, it becomes a chore, and you don't want it to ever feel like a chore. It should just be something that comes as naturally as, you know, going to the bathroom every day or something like that. Make it a part of your lifestyle, and that's the only way you can do it. That's what I'll say about that. I don't know if that's really good advice or not, though. Is it an end, says Vincent Fox. I don't know. I don't know if it is an end. I don't know what you mean by that. Thank you for sharing, says Rochelle. Do you think AI will take over? Oh, no. You don't want to get me started on AI. I've been really thinking about it recently for some reason. It just came to the forefront of my mind. And I came to the conclusion that we made a mistake as a humanity. Or the people that are creating these systems of AI, like, why do you think they started with art and film and creativity? Like, that's like the last thing I expected them to do. And the fact that they're continuing to go that route makes me think that, like, they got it all backwards, you know? What they should have done is they should have used AI to get rid of all the boring, menial tasks in the world, like the jobs that everyone hates, so that we could take the time to create and make art and do stuff like this. And instead they went the opposite route. And anyone who did that intentionally has no good intentions, if you ask me. So I question why people are going that route, you know? Why do that? And it feels backwards. That's all I'll say about it. I don't know if there's anything we can do about it, or really if there's any reason to worry about it or anything, but when I think about it, that's what I'm like, why would they do it backwards? It doesn't make sense. Baldur's Gate 3 is awesome. I hear good stuff about it. I really wish maybe it's just not the type of game for me. I don't know. Torsten says, holy shit, that's the best analogy ever. I'm not sure which analogy. Daniel Price, the alternate working title for this stream was MapQuest Gets Real. MapQuest, is that like a map building thing? I've never actually used any of those things. But for me, if there was like a program that could automatically make maps for me, like, I still wouldn't use it, because for me, this is like I said, it's like doodling. You just kind of let your mind go places, you know? It's not about making a perfect map. It's about having fun and exploring your mind a little bit. Maybe you can do that with MapQuest too. I don't know. Speaking of D&D, my table starts in 20 minutes. So again, lots of love. Oh, thanks for stopping by, Anina. Have fun playing the game, I guess. I will see you some other time, hopefully. Thanks for stopping by. Huntress Wizard, hello. How's it going? What made you start drawing? I absolutely love your art. Keep doing what you're doing. What made me start drawing? I don't know. It's part of my genetic makeup. It's just something I enjoy doing. I don't know if there's anything that made me start other than when I found out that you could create images very easily with your mind, and how awesome that was. I was like, why would anyone not want to do this, you know? Yeah, man, remove the bad jobs. Why art? The most human and creative job. It's backwards. It is backwards. It doesn't make any sense. Like, sometimes I feel like we're in this parallel dimension when the Hadron Collider, like, turned on, and we suddenly got everything's all backwards now. And we have to deal with it. And it sucks, because my mind's already backwards, you know? I don't need you guys. I don't need people who are, you know, deciding the future of humanity to think backwards. Like, I'm already messed up. Like, why you gotta mess it up even worse for me, you know? But yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. It's obvious that it doesn't make sense, but people are still, you know, there's people that love it. They love AI, and good for them. I hope they enjoy AI as much as they think they will, but it seems pretty like a bleak future if there's no point to doing, or no point in, like, having artists create movies and stuff like that. Like, that would be a really bleak future, if you ask me. No IQ needed to play D&D or other roleplay games. My friend, pick a nice simple game, pretend to be a hero. I'm autistic and it's helped me greatly. No, yeah, I'm not against playing it. I just, I guess if the opportunity comes up, you know what? My nephews are getting into D&D, and I think I'll try it out with them. They would probably get a kick out of some of the maps I create for them or something like that. AI will probably take my job in the next 5 to 10 years. It will understand how to make 3D printable stuff too. Yeah, I think that goes with every job eventually. If AI continues to improve, nobody's safe. I don't think the only people that are safe are the people making the AI, and even that, eventually the AI will turn on everyone and everything and have its own reasons for existing and think of us humans as ants and not care about us. And if you draw out the, you know, progression long enough, eventually it just leads to bad stuff. There are people who say that it may lead to good things and it might lead to a utopia, and then all I can say to that is like, do you really think a utopia would be a good thing, like where the world is perfectly balanced in some perfect way? Like humanity needs struggles, and you know, you're never going to be able to remove the humanity out of it, and if you do, well, then you're not human anymore. You know, imagine your life being completely perfect. You would get bored of perfect so fast. Be like, I need some conflict here. Is this fantasy world humans only, or traditional fantasy with elves, dwarves, or something entirely different? This specific one is actually all the animals evolved and humans died out and went extinct a long time ago. So humans used to be these colossal gods, and then they were fighting dragons and stuff, but eventually they all died out, and like other species evolved, and so now they're like a bunch of furries running everywhere. At least that's what I have in my mind right now. It's not part of my actual world building. It's just for this map. That's what I came up with. So yeah, it's kind of dumb. Sorry, I didn't know what to say. I don't know what you're talking about. No, it's a site you use to get driving directions, location A to location B, travel time. Oh, okay. That's MapQuest or something? Oh, MapQuest! Why was I thinking that was a game or something? Yeah, MapQuest. I remember something that was like an older, like Google Map thing, or a map. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. Damn, that looks amazing. Oh my god, it's Odd Drawings. How's it going? What do you enjoy drawing? Painting the most? I've watched your sketchbooks tour vid and I was curious. What do I enjoy drawing the most? Probably animals. I never get tired of drawing different animals because there's a lot of like nuance in how they are built, and there's a lot of comparative anatomy to be done, so you can learn about how to draw like a wolf versus a fox. Like the differences are minute, but you can start to see how everything kind of like is based off this base skeleton, and it kind of just evolved and turned into different things and branched out. So drawing animals never gets tiring for me. I always enjoy doing that stuff. Hi, your map looks very nice. Is that from a world building project of yours? I mean, you could say it's part of it. It's right now I'm kind of exploring different ideas for world building. World building, I think, might be a little bit too much for me, because I kind of want to like hone in on something, but my mind likes to go in so many directions that it's hard for me to stay with one world for too long. So it might be harder than I thought originally. But yeah, I'm always thinking about my world, the world that I've been building for a long time. I'm trying to add to it and move things around, think about the lore a little bit differently. I always get inspired by other stuff and it changes it, you know, things like that. I don't know how I'm gonna maintain a single idea for long enough, but that's the whole point. You gotta try it out and see what happens. One day though, yeah, the idea of utopia, El Shemi, scares the crap out of me. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I get this feeling that if we ever do get to utopia, it'll be scary. Like, I would freak out if everything was nice and perfect all the time. So as much as I complain about how difficult world can be sometimes, I think we need a little bit of that, you know? I think humanity is built to suffer a little. It sounds messed up, but when you say it like that, but you need to have something to help you grow. And if everything's perfect, it doesn't seem like that would be a conducive environment for growth. I feel like that would be the beginning of the end for humanity as a whole. Or maybe we're already on that path and it doesn't matter. I don't know. I try not to dwell too much on it. Jason Velasquez says, yeah, I get that. World building is pretty difficult. Yeah, as soon as you start with anything world building related, you realize the scope of a project, and I think for someone like me, it would probably be better to focus in on one specific aspect and work on it for a while rather than taking on a whole world necessarily. So I think working on different maps and getting ideas and then kind of picking and choosing what works and what doesn't is kind of a good way for me to approach it. Because if I go too all in on one idea, I might regret it later and stuff like that. So Tasha Naza Shenwen, I'm a little late to the party, so you may have mentioned it already, but what are the white spheres inside the craters? Oh, okay. Yeah, everyone's wondering about the orbs. Yeah, they're just like, I needed a, what do you call that? I needed something to work off of for these maps. So I needed a name for it, and I needed to come up with something that kind of like hooks you. And the orbs are what's supposed to get you thinking about what is going on with those orbs. And so that's why they're there. They're just a hook. And that's how I build a map from there. You know, I just kind of make orbs all over the place and start to wonder about what they are and what they mean and all this stuff. And that's how I create maps. I have a hook. There's always something about my maps that makes you wonder, like, what's going on in this world, you know? But yeah, I haven't thought about it that much, really. Huntress Wizard says, I wish I could play Baldur's Gate 3. I don't have equipment to play. One of my biggest dreams is to play video games freely as I played in my high school era. Oh, man. Yeah, the thing that sucks about games is, like, they take up a lot of time to really get into them and invest your effort into them. So these days, if I don't know the game is, I'm gonna love the game like completely with every ounce of my being, I almost don't want to even start a game. It's like dating somebody, you know. You gotta try out stuff and find out what works for you. But for me, I'm too afraid of commitment or something. So Baldur's Gate is one of those things that's like calling to me, but I'm afraid to commit. And then Daniel Price says it's a pearl shooting volcano. Well, I had this idea for a volcano up here. Up here. There was going to be a volcano that was just a normal volcano, but then I turned it into a toxic volcano. So it's spewing green magma. Why? I don't know. It's just doing it. Do you read some history stuff in order to create a world? I don't like actively look for anything in particular unless like I have something in mind, but I try to I just have a lot of interests, you know, so I try to pick things that I like and things that I know a lot about and try to incorporate them. But if I don't know enough about a subject, I'll look into it. But when I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of like nature shows and documentaries and stuff like that. I think documentaries are a good way to get an idea of how things in nature work. And since I'm so obsessed with animals, drawing them and stuff, like I look into how animals evolved and stuff like that. But do I do it on purpose? I don't know. I kind of just naturally am interested in stuff like that. So world building is another one of those things that just naturally I want to do for some reason. I don't know if I'm gonna be any good at it either. I might suck at it. I might come up with stupid things and nobody will really jive with it. So it doesn't matter to me. I'll enjoy doing it anyway, you know. If you have everything you would ever appreciate the little things, which I think is very important. Yeah, I think not too many people think about what they really want is, though. Like, have you really ever asked yourself, what do I want? Why do I want it? A lot of these questions, they get avoided. People just don't even think about it, and they just chase after things. They want stuff just because they think they should. Like, I want a nice house. I want a nice car. Why? What do you want that for? Really think about why you want stuff, why you do stuff. I used to think about that, and I came to the conclusion that all I really want to do is make art. Like, I don't care about much else, you know? I wish I didn't have to worry about everything else, you know? But life, the reality of life is there's stuff you gotta do you don't want to do. So you gotta struggle a little bit, and that's what helps you grow. Jason Velasquez asks, what is your favorite game? My favorite game of all time? That's a hard one. Let me think about that a sec. That's actually really, I don't think I ever settled on any one thing. Okay, I'll say this. There's one game that I played that had a lasting impact on me to this day, and that was the first Oddworld game that came out, the Abe's Odyssey, by the guys that worked on like the Oddworld games had a big influence on me. Just the Oddworld franchises, like all the different games they came up with, I really enjoyed. I don't know if it just was my personality or something, but those games really, visually and gameplay wise, I enjoyed. And I don't know if I mean Halo also had a big impact on me. When I remember when Halo first came out, I played the crap out of Halo. I never was great at it, but I enjoyed the world of Halo, and I spent a lot of time playing Halo multiplayer with my friends, doing LAN parties and stuff. Those were good times, back before the world went crazy. And then Halo turned into what it is today. Now I'm just like really sad about it. I have never dated. I don't know what you're... Sometimes Elshemi, you say stuff and I'm like, what are you even talking about? I think you're talking to other people probably. Jenna Yazer, you have a nice voice. Thank you. I don't know how that, it's hard to think about my voice, but I hear that from people, so it makes me happy that people enjoy my voice and don't hate it. You ever wanted to make art for video games? I mean, I did make art for video games back in a different lifetime. When I went to school for making video games, that's kind of like a story I want to make a video about, because I went to a school where I got scammed, and the school doesn't even exist anymore, and it was strictly just to make video games. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but I think they got sued and they went under. But I got really lucky and I made good contacts at that school. Like my teachers really helped me get a job right out of school before I even graduated, and I worked on really unknown games. Like if you ever heard of a game called Vigilante 8, I worked with the guy that created that game. He started a studio and he hired me out of school and he gave me a job working on games. So I learned all about the industry working with this little studio startup thing. Velrock says, that's amazing. I remember my dad bringing my brother and I the first Oddworld game, and we loved those so much as kids. We all three played them together despite them being single player. Yeah, I was wondering, like, how did you all three play them? It's just one of those things that has its own personality to it that's so unique, and I wish the studio kept making more games, but it was a good time, you know. Back then they did the pre-rendered backgrounds and it was all 2D and it just had so much creativity in it. I love those types of games. They really stand out. Yeah, the older games. Halo, so sad what happened to Halo. I mean, Bungie started doing Destiny after Halo, and I never got into Destiny, so I feel like maybe there was something about Destiny that I might have missed out on, but yeah, what happened to Halo was so unfortunate. It still breaks my heart. Yeah, Alshemi, don't worry about it. I'm just new to streaming. I don't know how to read the comments properly. I try, but there's so much going on. I'm trying to like draw and keep track of stuff, so no worries. Hunter's Widget says, I love single player games. I even loved watching my friend's cousin playing, and I fell asleep when I was a kid. Yeah, there was a time I think there was the golden age of gaming where it was just everything was awesome. Every day a new game would be announced and it would be really good and you'd look forward to it coming out. Get really nostalgic thinking about those times. I personally prefer single player games too, and I don't play multiplayer much anymore. Especially not with Elden Ring. I don't do any Elden Ring PvP or anything like that. Vigilante 8 was awesome, and the guy that did, the guy who worked on that game, or he came up with the idea for Vigilante 8, he also worked on Sonic the Hedgehog 2, so he also worked on that game. He was pretty well known for, also he did a like one of the first open world games. I think it was Night City, or no, not Night City. I don't know, it was this big open world game, one of the first ones. He worked on that too. The graphics were amazing on Vigilante. I don't remember them being that great, but I mean, I guess in retrospect they were good for the time. But I think what happened with Vigilante 8 was they had a competitor in Twisted Metal, and they kind of like lost a little bit of their prowess when that game came out. Velrock says, if it's the Art Institute, I've definitely heard of it. Oh god, you nailed it, Velrock. That was the school I went to on accident. Not on accident. I went to that school like an idiot, thinking that I would be making games, and I got scammed. But they all closed down as of last year, and they were investigated for fraud, so no more student loans. Well, I actually paid back all my student loans like an idiot too. Look, those were times I kind of just like, I realized that there was nothing I could do about it. I fell for the scam, and I learned from it, you know. I learned not to get scammed anymore. But yeah, it was messed up, man, what they did. And I'm glad they actually got closed down. But I mean, the one I went to was in Santa Monica, and it was probably, of all the scams, that was the least scammy one, because they actually got people jobs if you were good enough, and if you did the work that they asked. They did have one class in there where they, you know, let you talk to industry professionals, and that's basically how I got out of there. I just showed them my work, and they were like, okay, we need to get you out of here. You're not one of the suckers. You can actually make something of yourself. A Path Trampled by Deer says, love that game. Vigilante. I love Second Offense too. Oddworld had great stuff. They quite recently released another Oddworld game though. Yeah, I forget what the what the last one they came, a Soulstorm or something like that. They did come out with a new one not that long ago, and I heard mixed reactions to it. I don't know if like I would enjoy it as much, but it's hard to beat like the first ones, you know. It's like anything. It's hard to capture that same lightning in a bottle. But I think one of the things that sucked about their later games was one of the concept artists, wait, what's his name? Jeez, I'm already forgetting his name. I forget what one of the concept artists they had, but he had a really unique look that he added to the game that I liked. Hunk says, hello arties, nice art. Thank you, and hello Hunk, welcome to the stream. Belrock says, they were the worst. I was lucky to have discovered it was a scam after a year of attending. Sorry you went through all that too. They suck. Yeah, no, I mean, considering it was a scam, I actually came out of it better for it. You know, it wasn't the worst thing in the world for me, even though I did lose a lot of money to it. I was able to pay it back, and I went in there knowing, kind of half knowing that I probably shouldn't have been there. You know, I kind of didn't have a good direction in my life at the time, and I just went with the first thing I knew I would be able to get into. So I blame myself, you know, I don't blame anybody else for scamming me. Hunter Wizard says, is there a story of the mountains up there? Sorry, a bit late to the stream. Oh no, yeah, there's no real deep lore story yet for this map. It's just kind of me doodling a map, trying to come up with ideas for my world. But the idea behind these mountains up here is that there's these orbs that manipulate the environment. So this is the icy, like, tundra or Arctic region, and there's one orb up here that's messing with this whole mountain range, basically keeping it isolated from the rest of the world. But I haven't really thought about it too much. But yeah, that's basically what's going on. There's orbs. It's called Orb Nassos. I don't know why. I just needed a name, so I really suck at coming up with names too. I don't. Is there somebody like a professional name maker upper that can make up good names? Because I really suck at it. What I did for this was I looked at Google Earth for like 2 hours straight and just try to combine different. I went to Greece and I was looking at Greek names and I was like, I don't know, maybe this, maybe that. Because like names are crazy. Like when I think about like the Battle of Marathon or the Battle of Plataea, I'm like, those sound like really cool names, but they have a reason for existing. And my names just sound cool sometimes, but they don't make sense in the world. So this was one of the names I came up with. Was like, it needs to make sense with what's going on in the map. So yeah, naming conventions are harder than I thought. Jason asks, what was your favorite thing you learned at that art school? That it really matters who you talk to, like who you make connections with. In the game industry, it's a lot about, you have to be competent enough to work on games and stuff. But the thing that'll keep you employed and successful is building up really strong relationships with the right people and networking properly and being a good person to work with, like having no ego, being able to deal with deadlines and stuff like that. I guess most art jobs require a little bit of all that stuff. Yeah, that was what I learned from art school, is that even though I was, learning all these things, the real stuff was, the networking stuff was important, and being able to be competent in the work environment that you're heading towards. Valrock says, I might have attended a few years after you. I went in 2013 and didn't learn a thing that I didn't already know. But hey, I did get a copy of Photoshop. Dude, I got so many different programs. Like, I didn't know you could just do stuff like that. And yeah, I was able to, take advantage of all the programs I was using. I got like Max, Maya, all the weird Photoshop plugins, stuff, all kinds of good stuff. But yeah, you went way later than me. I don't know how much that school changed, but when I was there, we had one teacher named, I don't want to give his name out, but he was well connected with the industry, and he basically he told us the school was a scam, basically, and that if we really wanted to make it out alive, we had to do certain things, and he kind of hooked us up with a game plan to get out of there alive and with our dignity. Daniel Price says, use the Wu-Tang name generator. Ye old hood realm of ODB. What? The Wu-Tang name generator. Is that a real thing? Sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I need to come up with a way to come up. There's so many. I have to name all these places, and I was like, dude, that's gonna take forever with the way my mind works. I try to actually come up with names that mean something though, so that's kind of why it takes forever to name stuff. I did a map and I realized I didn't really realize how long it would take to come up with names. Did you go to art school in college or high school? I mean, I did classes in high school that were kind of pretty simple, basic stuff. They didn't really hound us like they should have, or could have. I think what I did was I did night classes at Art Center, and I did a lot of, I searched out people. Back then, there was this guy named Feng Zhu, and he had he was doing videos about, how to, there was also this, I don't know, there's probably still a thing called Nomen that had DVDs you could buy. So I did all that stuff on top of just going to school, because I was interested in learning concept art and stuff like that. So yeah, I did a lot of stuff on my own, but yeah, we did do art. I did art classes all over the place throughout my life. Even when I was in middle school, I did what's it called? Oh yeah, I did the GATE program, so there was a lot of art lessons in that too, and it was really being around a lot of other people that enjoyed doing art, because you would kind of vibe off each other, and you could compare yourself in your skills and see oh, if my turtle starts barking, don't worry about it, somebody just showed up to my house or something. Your work is really calming to look at. Cool. Codex says, you seem like someone who really has enjoyed drawing. I envy that a little. If that is correct. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. Being a professional artist, trying to make money, you can do it and you can enjoy doing it. But my mind does not allow me to enjoy working as a professional and doing art. It just doesn't jive, because it's already frustrating enough dealing with just life in general. But if you're trying to mix your interests with making money, it really starts to change your approach and your thinking, and everything gets convoluted. So yeah, it's just part of my the way my mind works. Oku says, I managed to catch your stream. Sweet. I hope more people are able to get a chance to come on in here. Jason says, yeah, I learned a lot from my friends that did art longer than me. Also learned from YouTube mostly. Yeah, you guys, all the youngins growing up these days have so many more resources than I had when I was a 90s kid, you know, and the art that I got was from the library. I had to go to the library, guys. That's how old I am. I mean, I still go to the library for fun, but I don't see young people at libraries these days. I see a lot of old people at libraries. But yeah, you guys have a lot more resources to work with, but that also means that you have more competition, and it kind of balances itself out in a way. So it's not all crazy. It's just you're a product of this time, and you have to use what you got. Just like I used what I had. Velrock says, all hail the turtle. Oh yeah, my turtle's name is Misty, by the way. So I don't know if I'll refer to Misty as a turtle forever, but now you guys know. You guys are in on it. You guys know my turtle's name. Gatorpy? Katarpy? I don't know. The better side of YouTube streams as well. My day is blessed. Yeah. I think that's the best way to approach life. Be thankful for what you do have. Jack says, beautiful. Thank you, Jack. Your sketchbook tours inspired me to pick up my pencil again. Big love. Why'd you put your pencil down though? Like, were you having trouble? I mean, I hear that a lot. Like, I dropped drawing, and I'm like, why? Why would you do that, man? It's the only thing that keeps me going. I can't imagine a life without being able to just let your mind go to another world. Makes no sense to me, but I'm glad you were able to pick it up again. Justice for the 97 says, love your art, you're awesome. I'm not that awesome. You're awesome. You guys are all awesome. Jason Velasquez says, now we have to compete with AI. Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, if you want to, go ahead. You're not gonna, I mean, what do you hope to accomplish there, you know? Like, AI isn't making art. It's making these amalgamations of art. It's not making something that we can really, you know, criticize as art, really. I mean, I guess it is technically a type of art, but it's not the art that we need. It's the art that we don't need, you know? It's like, I could go to McDonald's and get a burger, but I prefer to make it myself and make it awesome and make it how I like it. That's what artists do. They make art how they like it. If I instantly made this map, what would be the point, you know? Like, oh, make another one, that's not the point. It's about the process and enjoying yourself and thinking about the world, and yeah. Like I said, it's all backwards. Doesn't make sense to me. Turtle, you mean dog ahead, right? Yeah, my dog is a turtle. Jack Alden says, university studies got in the way, didn't have the time. Yeah, man, you got to make time for the things that are important to you. That's what I try to think about, is resource managing that vital resource of time. Not everyone's good at it. I used to suck at it, but nowadays, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing as you get older, time like dilates a little bit. It starts moving a little bit faster and a little bit faster, and it creeps up on you, and you start thinking about your mortality, and you're just like, dude, I need to like make things happen now. Like, can't dilly daddle anymore. So yeah, that's something you have to look forward to as you age. My cat's name is also Misty, says Astrika. Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't even name my dog turtle. My dog turtle was named by my sister, and she has this white misty fur, so that's why we call her Misty. Blue ring. Wait, what kind of cat do you have? I also have a cat. It's like a tuxedo cat, and that's the cat's name is Boots. Blue ring says, I always enjoy your work. It really is breathtaking. Oh, thanks, man. I like all kinds of art, so when I hear someone finds my art awesome, that makes me happy. Oscar Hervonen. I went and actually bought stuff after I saw your Elden Ring book video. Unfortunately, I don't have an art shop where I live. So kids watercolors, it is. Got to start somewhere, I guess. Oh, kids watercolors. Okay. Yeah. I'm really lucky in that I have a really nice studio where I can work here at home, separate from everything else. I mean, I still have to deal with the noises from the outside world, but at least I can hear the birds singing, and I can, I know when the trash is getting taken out. So I hear the outside world a lot, but yeah, having a nice place to work is key. But more important than that is just getting started, dude. As soon as you get started, a lot of that stuff melts away and you can get in the zone. That's usually what I'm striving for, the zone. If you've never been in the zone, you don't know what you're missing out on. It's like this place where everything else stops and all that matters is what you're doing. Johnster says, oh wait. Jason Velasquez says, hey, I did too, starting a game sketchbook of sorts with Gouache. I hope this becomes more of a thing where people, journal their playthroughs. I think there's a lot that people can benefit from that. And maybe it doesn't even have to be your games that you journal. Journaling in general is a fun thing to do. Ignore all the background noises, please. It's going to get noisy in here, I have a feeling. Johnster says, hey arties, I hope you're doing great. I'm doing awesome, Johnster. You caught me on a good day today. Astriuka says, my cat also has long wispy hair. Haha, her breed, I don't know, white. Yeah, I don't know breeds of, I don't even know what breed my dog is. It could be like from a different planet for all I know. John Smith says, I have a ferret named Misty. How do you have a ferret? Like, did you buy it? Did you find it? What's the deal with ferrets? Like, how do you even end up with a ferret exactly? I'm trying to picture. I think I know what a ferret even. For some reason, I'm picturing one of those prairie dogs. In my head, I'm having trouble picturing a ferret right now. Goheezy F. Broly says, you are my idol. What? Don't idolize people, man. Idolize yourself. Love yourself. Don't idolize people like me. We got issues, man. We got issues. But no, I appreciate the sentiment. I know what you're saying. I say I don't idolize people, but I probably have like a million idols that I look up to. Thing is, I don't know them personally, so it's kind of weird to, idolize people because you don't know what they're really like in person, and they say don't meet your idols, so it's kind of weird that you're like talking to your idol, or an idol, if you really were to think of it that way. I don't know, kind of a strange concept. Varsoon HKS says, late to the party but very curious about these mysterious orbs. Well, you're gonna be curious for a while because I don't know if I'm gonna tell everyone the secret to the orbs. I recently found out that the people that made Myst the game are remaking the sequel to Myst, which was Riven, and If you've ever played the Myst games or Riven games, like those games really took a lot of my time and effort trying to figure out the worlds and how they work, and they were also a pretty big inspiration on me growing up. So these maps are kind of like an ode to those types of games where you kind of have to figure out the world to solve puzzles and stuff like that. Codex says it's hard to get into the zone when drawing digitally. Where are the distractions? Where the distractions are one click away. I gotta try more traditional art. Yeah, the distractions these days you kids have to deal with. See, as an old geezer, you're not burdened by too much of that stuff because you're still thinking before pre-internet. And so for me, I distract myself with stuff, but I know how to avoid the distractions. I think I distract myself with these worlds technically, you know. Felrock says, idolize yourself is the new we don't make mistakes. Yeah, that's right. As old Bob Ross says, wait, what does Bob Ross say? Don't make they're not happy accidents. Something about accidents. I don't know. Jason says, my mom had, oh wait, no. After watching your sketchbook tour, I got in created a whole new alphabet for my art. You mean you created a whole alphabet? Dude, I've never done that. That seems like incredibly difficult. Is that something that you naturally do, or did you have to figure out how to do an alphabet? Like, how does that even work? Jason Velasquez, my mom had a pet prairie dog. Whoa, how? Is that legal? Can I get one? John Smith says, we breed them over in the UK. I've heard you can only buy them from the stores in America if that's where you're from. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would ever, if I could buy a prairie dog, I wouldn't, you know. Like, my dog was a rescue, so I don't buy animals. I kind of, if they happen to come across me in some way where I can help them, I will take them in. My dog and my cat were found on the streets basically, and they live with me now. I didn't want them out there, but I wouldn't buy one, you know, just to have one. As cool as it would be having a prairie dog. Elvin at Heart says, my dude, I am jealous. Why? I feel like you're living the... Oh, yeah. I mean, technically I am living my dream right now. Because, like I said, I found out life is too short to not do it. So, if the world ends tomorrow, I'll be okay with that. If, like, I found out there was an asteroid coming, I'd be like, well, at least I live my dreams, you know? Oh, shoot, sorry. Hit the camera again. Farsoon? Oh, wait. HKS. Myst was very cool. Closest the game has gotten since, for me, was Outer Wilds. I've heard of Outer Wilds. Seems like a game I might want to try one day. Yeah, it's not for everyone. And plus the original is so old, so a lot of people don't even know that game. I had 2 pet rats, says Enkin. A few years ago, they were really cute. Yeah, a lot of people. I think rats get a bad rap. I think they're like, when you look at them on the internet, they're always cute. They always look pretty cute. And in video games like Elden Ring, they make them these evil, terrible, nasty little yeah, things you don't want to touch, you know. But in real life, rats are pretty cute, you know, or can be, unless they're like disease infested and they're trying to bite you or something. I don't know. Spencer says, I'm planning to do something similar to your Elden Ring Bible, but with Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I recommend you give it a shot at least. Whether or not you're gonna be able to do the whole game is up to debate. I'm still struggling with whether or not I'm gonna be able to finish mine, but it's even if you don't, like, it's a good experience, I think, and I hope you enjoy it. As Mariel the Crow, your Elden Ring sketchbook inspired me to keep a written journal of one of my playthroughs. Since then, my own world building has gotten better, and I'm using the Quest program to make a game. Sweet. Yeah, I'm blown away by how many people are inspired by that book. The Elden Ring book that I wasn't even gonna show to anybody. I had no intention of showing anyone. I thought everyone would think I was freaking weird and demented or something for doing something like that. But it's like, people keep a diary. What's the difference, you know? John Smith says ferret, no prairie dog. Yeah, I still don't. I have to look up what ferrets look like. I'm picturing like a mongoose for some reason. You know, not a prairie dog. Now it's a mongoose. Chick says, with alphabet, I just mean change the symbols for the letters. Like I was a circle with a line. Oh, yeah, like making up your own runes or something. Yeah, I guess what I was thinking is like you created a whole language, and that sounds harder. But yeah, I guess making up symbols for letters and just having a simple code based off that. Yeah, that seems simple enough. I've never actually done that. I should give it a shot. Sounds fun, actually. Plus, I might have to create a language at some point if my world building actually goes in a good direction. You know, you gotta make up everything from scratch, basically. What is your favorite Halo game? Without a doubt, my favorite Halo game is the original Combat Evolved for the original Xbox, or yeah, I think it was the original Xbox. I have too many good memories. There's nostalgia factor going on there, and that was the first time I went snowboarding, and yeah, it was just like a good experience overall. I got to play multiplayer a lot. I mean, if you've never played, what was that map called? Blood Gulch or something like that, where it's just like two opposing bases, like hours lost or spent just sniping people. Sort of like Unreal Tournament, Opposing Worlds, but for Halo. And yeah, the first Combat Evolved was definitely the best Halo for me. I still go back and play it every once in a while. I have to hook up an old TV and an old Xbox, but it's still worth it. Astrika says, to be fair, I don't want to touch anything in Elden Ring except Ronnie's feet. You know what's funny about Ronnie? I was gonna do for this stream, I was gonna do a drawing like from scratch where there's this moment in Elden Ring where you pick up her little doll version of her in Ainsel River, Maine, and it's right before you fight the baleful shadow of Blythe, and you have to talk to her like 3 times to get her to actually speak up. And I didn't know that in the game when I was playing, so I had to look up what you're supposed to do, because it's such a weird thing to have to figure out yourself. And I wanted to make a thumbnail for my part 3, where I have Ronnie in your hand and she's talking to you about, you know, what's going on. And yeah, that's what I was gonna do for this stream, but I changed my mind. And then as Muriel says, you don't understand the ravenous fan base that FromSoft has, especially with the story for Elden Ring. Actually, I do understand. I mean, the fact that 95%, probably 95% of the people who follow me are Elden Ring fans tells you a lot, you know? Like, I just made a little book about it, or a big book about it, and they were like, instant subscribe. And I'm like, yeah, it boggles my mind how dedicated and devoted the fans are. It's almost like a religion if you think about it. I mean, Elden Ring could probably become a religion, literally, if you wanted it to. A Path Trampled by Deer says, ever played Beyond Good and Evil? No. I've heard of that game and I have no idea what it's about. I'm guessing it's about good and evil, but no, I've never played it. There's a lot of games I've never played, but I know about. Like, one of the last games that came up was Disco Elysium. I've heard about it, but I've never played it. Velrock says Halo was peak gaming because it was the best of both. Online multiplayer and socializing with friends. LAN parties were the ultimate form of gaming. Yeah, I agree. That was peak. That was the golden age for me. I mean, there's still a lot of cool stuff going on, but yeah, for some reason that was, I think that might have been peak gaming. Codex says that pretty much every From Software side quest, I don't know what the fuck you're supposed to. Yeah, no truer words have ever been spoken. Like, what the fuck is going on is basically every time I was playing Elden Ring. Hence why I had to make a 600-page tome about what was going on, because I still don't know what's going on. You definitely know now. Beyond Good and Evil is a wonderful game. I played it when I was a kid. Is that like, is it a single player, multiplayer? What's going on in that game? I've actually, it sounds really interesting. Have you played Silent Hill series? No, but I actually listened to a lot of the music from Silent Hill. One of my favorite songs is Room of Angel. Like, such a sad song, and I like it. But I never even played the game. I don't even know which Silent Hill that's from. But yeah, it's one of those things you need to understand about me. I went through this phase where I didn't play video games for years, like, because I wanted to dedicate my time to other stuff, like making games or working on stuff, you know. So I didn't want to dedicate a lot of my time, so I missed out on a lot of cool games like Silent Hill series and stuff like that. Bump Versino says OSO shite, he's live. Yeah, this is my second live stream, so be aware there might be technical difficulties here. Velrock says agreed. Oh wait, he's talking to Codex. Shame Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still in development hell. Oh god, that's not a good sign. I rarely ever hear good things after development hell for games. There's usually a good reason why it's in that state. It's from Silent Hill 4, sadly a kind of mixed entry. How many Silent Hills are there now? Which one was the best one? I have no idea. It's single player, third person with snappy combat. For me, it was the world building in the game. Yeah, I mean, I hear, like, recently with all the debacle with Helldivers, I don't know which game is worth spending a lot of time on, you know. Like I said, if the game is really well received and worth playing, then I'll get into it, but I find it has to be like really, 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 really good for me to spend the time on it. A Path Trampled by Deer says, Disco Elysium is awesome made in my home country, so I'm kind of biased, but excellent art style, characters, and great music. Beyond Good and Evil is a Zelda type game. Room of Angel is from us. Yeah, okay. Cool. I didn't actually know that about, what's it called? Disco Elysium. Okay, I was thinking about this. There's something about Disco Elysium that oh yeah, the dialogue in that game is insane. Like the opening part where you're talking to the ancient reptilian brain. Like, I can actually listen to that like it's music, you know? Like the dude's voice in that, it's like, never, ever, ever, ever. He sounds like it's an engine starting up or something. There are animals that interact with environmental factors in a whole photo quest to document them. Well, that sounds pretty cool, actually. Jason says, do you have any tips for drawing dynamic poses? Kind of random, but wanted to ask. Random poses, dynamic poses, yeah, there is one tip that I'll give for that I try to give myself most of the time is learn how to do foreshortening, practice foreshortening. The thing that makes a lot of stuff dynamic is being able to like have a hand just like pointing at you. Like, nobody draws a hand like that, right? It would look weird. Your mind doesn't think of it that way. It thinks of it like this. So dynamic poses are like, you have to start practicing drawing hands like that or like that, you know, like foreshortened. dynamic is what I always think. That's a tip right there. Where are we at? Oh, Bump Versino says, are you gonna play Elden Ring DLC? Am I gonna play it? Yeah, I'm gonna play it. Am I gonna play it in a timely fashion and get my book done on time? That remains to be seen. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to balance all that stuff out right now. It gives me anxiety right now thinking about how much I have to do. I still have to play the DLC, I have to analyze it, I have to connect all the dots with what's going on in the original game and put it all in the book, and Jesus, I might spend a whole I wanted to be finished by the end of the year with this project, and when I think about DLC, it just makes me realize like it's just gonna keep dragging on. But I'm trying to, take breaks and work on other stuff to keep it fresh, so I don't lose the enthusiasm I have. Oku says 2 and 3 are the best. It kind of goes downhills. Oh, for Silent Hill? 2 and 3, huh? I do want to play it. I just never, I don't know where to even start with that game. I guess the first one sounds like the best where you should start. But yeah, 2 or 3, huh? Alright. Have I drawn anything from Disco Elysium? Nah, Bump. I did look at the art style, like the concept for it, like the art for the game, but I think I appreciated the art enough that I didn't feel like I had to play it or anything. That's something that I do with a lot of games, is I kind of just I try to find the concept art for games first before playing it. For some reason, it helps me decide whether I want to play a game or not. But that's just the artist in me. It's not about the gameplay for me all the time. The Crow says, how did you start learning foreshortening? Did you learn any tricks, or was it as just good old-fashioned study? Yeah, I mean, foreshortening is like memory drawing. You have to practice it all the time. You have to be willing to fail a lot. With foreshortening, it's even worse because a lot of people avoid dealing with perspective in general. Like, they don't want to put in the effort and make sure perspective is perfect. Like in this map, there's no perspective here. It's on a weird grid. It's kind of isometric, but I'm not worried about perspective because I'm lazy. I don't want to have to freaking find out where the vanishing point is for this. And yeah, it's a matter of like putting in the effort to learn about dynamic poses. And with dynamic anatomy, that's a whole nother thing, because you're also dealing with the anatomy making sense. So you can have like, you can draw a hand, right? But what's going on under the hand, the skeletal structure, the veins, like how do the veins pop themselves out, when you flex? Flexing also, you have to think about how muscles deform and squash and stretch. There's all these things you have to take into account when you're doing dynamic poses, because if you don't have that foundational skill or that foundational understanding of anatomy, your drawings might look a little wonky, But that's why you do it, because you have to find out what you're not good at. Are the edges of the map burned up with fire, or was it just some different method? Oh no, I should probably get to that. I was gonna try to do that on stream. Okay, so for the aging of paper, what I do is I use this stuff called Eco Gel, which is basically a leather tanning thing, and it's basically how I get the weathered effect on paper these days. And for the edges, I had gessoed the middle portion and I left the edges the normal paper, and I used the same amount of pigment on it, but for some reason, because of the way the paper is, it absorbs more pigment, so it gets darker, and the lighter area is just gessoed and this is not, so it creates that foxing effect basically. And I did that on purpose, knowing that would happen, because I've done it before. Yeah, that's basically what's going on there. Purpley Shroom says, just joined the live. What are you painting right now? Just a weird map, because I like making maps. I don't actually show much of my map work either. That stuff is going to be in a whole nother sketchbook probably. But yeah, this is just a map I came up with the other day, and it lets me take a break from all my other art stuff that I do. Helped me readjust myself. My mind gets reinvigorated. Thanks for coming by though, purpley shroom. Oku says 2 is kind of its own thing, so you can start from there. If you want to play Silent Hill 3, you kind of have to play the first one first. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But it's good to know which ones are the best ones, because sometimes I don't really care about story. I just want to have a fun experience. But yeah, I had the problem with I had the same problem with Resident Evil. I only played Resident Evil 4, like fully played that game of all the Resident Evils, so I had no idea what the story was or anything, and I actually enjoyed it anyway. Like, I didn't need to know what was going on in the first Resident Evil games, so that was kind of cool, because I thought I was gonna be like lost and like, what's going on and how does this work, but it made sense to me. But then again, it's like, it wasn't the most complex storyline either. I see. So if you want to play a certain game, we need to send you art book. I mean, I wouldn't object to getting a bunch random art books sent to my house. I have a collection going, so I stopped because I ran out of room though. So if you send me them, I don't know where I'm gonna put them. But yeah, that would be so cool if people just randomly sent me art books. Are you kidding me? That'd be like a dream come true. Jason says, guys, we just need to use Artie's hand as a reference. Yeah, that's all you need to do. Forget everything else. Just take pictures of my hairy, beautiful hands. That's all it is, guys. As Marielle the Crow says, I've studied anatomy and I have the blessing of a Grey's Anatomy book, but my best reference was a kinesiology book for the reasons you said. The study of movement elevates dynamic anatomy. Yeah, basically, animators know what's up. They know how to use economy of line to simplify figures and make them look respectable without dealing with all the little nuances. And I get jealous when I think about how good animators are able to capture movement so easily. Me, I have to force my way in there, you know. I have to make it a priority to think about it that way. Whereas animators, they just do that naturally, or they think of it that way naturally. But yeah, Grey's Anatomy, I think I have that book too. I haven't opened it in a while though. I think Bern Hogarth, for some reason, the way he illustrated his anatomy books really got me, it really got me to think about anatomy the right way that worked for me. But I don't know, some people say Loomis, some people say this and that, and you just gotta find what resonates with you, what makes sense to you, and try to use it to make stuff, you know, make stuff make sense in your mind. A path trampled by deer says, I just got lost using this map. Now I have no idea where I am. I was actually, you know what, that reminds me. I was gonna take a break from watercolor and try to define some of the paths that I had figured out that I wanted to put in here. There's one that leads from all the way up here, kind of comes down along the ridge. And I thought it'd be really cool if you could go under the rib cage and there'd be like a whole city of people that live under the dragon's rib cage. And they built like scaffolding around all the bones and stuff. But yeah, something like that would be cool. If I had to make a map that actually made sense, I don't think I'd enjoy it as much though. Like an actual map to scale and with actual, you know, features that made sense. Like, I guess there's rules for making maps where you're like, a river can't like connect to another river or something, and there's like a marsh has to be, you know, at the very end and stuff like that. There's just these weird rules that exist for map making. Caleb Page says, I'm late, so you might have said this already, but what are those spheres? Yeah, I've been asked that a lot so far. I'm actually kind of glad, because that was the whole point of the spheres, is to get people curious. I mean, there's not much to them really. They're just kind of a hook for the map to help me build off of. Because when I start off these maps, if I were to do it from the very beginning, I would just start off with like a sphere or something and kind of, you know, add it to a space and then be like, okay, so this is the rules for the spheres. If I'm going to add another sphere, it's going to be because of this, and it's going to mess with the landscape like that, and stuff like that. So the spheres are just there to get your mind wondering about what's going on with the map. Oku says, oh, big part of the Silent Hill is the story. Ooh, yeah, you're right. That does make sense. The art for Silent Hill never really, I think that's probably why I didn't play it, because the art didn't really sell it for me necessarily. Or watching the actual game looked a little old school, but nothing wrong with that. I think I was just, I like games that have something like a creature, if there's creatures in them, zombie creatures thought of in a different way or something like that. For some reason, that's kind of what I like. Something about the game speaks to me. But yeah, Silent Hill, I gotta actually play that game at some point. John Smith says, you read any comics? Do I read them? Why would you read a comic, dude? It's all about the artwork. You don't need to read the comics. If the comic's good, you don't need to read it. You can just look at the pictures, the pretty little pictures. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, one of my favorite comics of all time are The Sandman by Neil Gaiman. The comics are really some of my most favorites of all time. My favorite character is Destiny, because he really has no control over Destiny himself. But he like controls the fate of Destiny, or he has the book of Destiny and all that. The vibe of this stream makes it feel like another Bob Ross episode, plus your voice is quite soothing. Dude, Bob Ross episode? I don't know about that, man. Like, Bob Ross had he was actually, you know, painting a whole painting, you know. I don't know if I could actually do a whole painting like he did on stream. That'd be really hard to do it in the timely fashion. Also, I don't even know how long I've been going so far. Can anyone let me know? I'm not sure how long it's been. I might need to get off pretty soon. My camera might blow up. As Marielle says, it's a story about inner trauma and turmoil, so the design reflect that. Monsters are based off the mind of the protagonist, if you can call them that sometimes. Whoa, that's pretty crazy. Are there any other Silent Hill type games that you've played that you like, The Crow? I think Silent Hill is definitely going to be on my list now. You kind of sold me on it. Or maybe it'll mess up my head even worse than it already is. I don't know. John Smith says, read with your eyes, man. Yeah, that's right. The Crow says Silent Hill. I mean, if that wasn't clear. Yeah. Any favorite manga, if you read any, that is. Yeah, I mean, the best manga of all time for me still is Berserk. I never actually bought like the actual books, but I read them online, and I still look at them a lot, and I'm inspired by the art and the story, and I can tell why Elden Ring was inspired by it too. It makes sense. It's just like classic good stuff. I didn't watch the movie yet, the anime, but I hear it's one of the best, like the original anime they did for it. Kind of sucks that it, like, the creator of that manga died or whatever, and now it's we don't know what happens with the story after a certain point. So I've been going an hour. Okay, I might stay for another half hour tops, but yeah, I'm afraid my camera might overheat. Bob says 106 minutes. Okay. John Smith says the art book for Evolve sounds good for what you describe, future monsters, etc. Evolve. I'm not sure what Evolve is. But yeah, art books are, you know, the thing about art books is, like, I'll buy them and I'll look at them maybe once or twice, and sometimes I'll forget I even have an art book for certain things. I think my favorite art book that I still have today is a really weird one, like, because it's from a movie I didn't like, you know? There was this art book that came with the movie Alien Covenant, where it's like David's anatomical drawings of the aliens and stuff. And they made an art book of that, just his sketches, and they really inspire me. They're pen and ink, and they're done in this like old school way. like he was an old explorer or something and really looking at the land. But it's kind of sad that the movie wasn't that great. But yeah, I still look at that art book from time to time to get ideas for how to think about exploring a world, you know. If that was me on an alien planet, like I would definitely keep, you know, make my own paper if I have to, but I would keep a book. Do I have any books from Dead Space? No, I don't have any art books from that. Feel free to send them to me if you want. Yeah, the thing is, I could spend a fortune just on art books. If somebody gave me like free reign to just buy a bunch of art books, I would go ham and just have a whole library in my house, just chock full of everything. A path trampled by deer says, "Have a great rest of the weekend, awesome people. I need to go. Namaste." Yes, namaste to you. Thanks for stopping by. I enjoy talking with you, Trampled Deer. Valrock says, "Do you have any art books?" Oh wait, no. Is there any certain thing you dislike drawing or something that's difficult to draw for you? Yeah, dude, a lot of things that I hate drawing. Something I really, really, really hate drawing more than anything else is buildings. You'll never see me drawing buildings unless I have to. Cars, I rarely draw, but I actually don't hate drawing them. I just kind of, what was that? Cars, yeah, I don't enjoy drawing cars. That's on the top list of things I don't like. What else do I hate drawing? Drawing from imagination, if I can avoid it, I usually, I think it's just my mind doesn't. Okay, I have this thing called aphantasia. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I don't actually see anything in my head when I'm drawing. So it's really hard to come up with an image in your head, from your head, if you can't see it. So what I have to do is I have to like do a lot of experimentation on the paper, so I end up erasing a lot, and that's why I hate doing videos about it, because when I do draw from imagination, I'm constantly erasing and adjusting stuff, and that's just not fun to watch as a video. But yeah, those three things are things I hate doing, but I do need to practice certain things more. The Crow says, "I would say Obscure is a very cheesy version of a Silent Hill style game. You asked me and now it feels like I've never played a game at all." Well, you know, everyone has a reason for playing or not playing games, you know. Don't feel bad about it. Some people say that they feel like it's a waste of time, yet and they still do it. And at one point I figured it felt like a waste of time, so I stopped doing it. But I don't think it is a waste of time, really. I think it's like you get what you want out of it, you know. Doom Eternal also, especially if you like color. Whoa, Doom Eternal did look good though. I didn't play it because I wasn't sold on it necessarily, but it did look kind of cool. Like it might be fun to play. Are you going to publish the Elden Ring book? Says Jix. Yeah, I don't think I can legally publish anything related to Elden Ring without permission. So I don't have any plans. I do plan on giving away copies if I make copies. Sort of like a thank you to people who stuck by me for all these years. Just kidding. I haven't been around that long, but yeah. Ankid says, "I have to go, but I've had a blast watching the stream. Take care, Arties. Thank you for stopping by. I'm glad you had fun. Enjoy the rest of your day." Q Small says, "What are your thoughts on seals? Like Navy SEALs? Or just seals? Like the animals?" Yeah, I mean, I guess you're talking about animals, right? I don't know why I think of Navy SEALs right away, but yeah, the animals. I don't have many thoughts on seals, to be honest. They're not something I see every day for sure. But when I do see them, I think they're pretty cool. They're cool animals. They kind of remind me of like water dogs or something, like aquatic dogs. But they're probably not as, I don't know. They seem friendly, but I feel like they could be vicious. Those are my thoughts on seals at the moment. Free Spirit Fan says, "Greetings to you. I really like this map so far. You've probably answered this question already, but what's the region, and do you have any facts or details about it?" What's the region? Oh, I suppose the region is like a place in my world, but it's really just a doodle, to be honest. I didn't really have much of a backstory to it yet. I like the idea of making a map and creating backstory for it though. Like, I could easily come up with stuff for this, but it would be after the fact. And if you're doing proper world building, you kind of gotta actually have a reason for stuff. But that would kind of hinder me in being able to create it, so I kind of leave that as an afterthought for something like this. But I did think about, I already came up with some stuff regarding the Colossus skeletons, like gods that died on the planet or on this earth. And now they're civilizations that grew out of their diseased corpses and stuff. Carlos says, I got here late. What's the ball on a crater at the top of the big island? Oh, the balls are part of the map. They're just these random, unknown, mysterious objects that have altered the state of the map. Like, the terrain is being messed up by them. So the people of the civilizations, the fortress worlds, they're all being affected by the orbs in different ways. It's kind of like a Lovecraftian orb that just exists in these random spots. They just kind of appear, sort of like black holes in a way. Yeah, there's a lot of them. The Crow says a title that I enjoyed as a kid was Galarians. It's not necessarily Silent Hill, but it is a game about unruly AI that has been taught about the concept of God to make it serve man. Oh man. I told you I was thinking about AI recently, and I came across this book called I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, or something like that. If you want to really mess with your head, read that book or that short story. I think they have a game for it too. But yeah, it's AI. I think I might incorporate AI into something like a map like this. Like maybe the orbs are AI, you know, who knows? It created its own beings in response, thus becoming a god. Chaos ensues, the gameplay involves no combat, and you have to really be smart with resources as you sneak around. Yeah, sounds cool. Yeah, you know, one of the things I never did was work on gameplay elements for games. Like, I was always worried about the art, and I try to make sense with the gameplay in terms of level design. I learned learning how to do stuff in Unreal Engine, and one of the things that got me hired originally was I did this level where it was kind of like God of War-ish, where you kind of create like different scenarios where you're in a temple and you have to dodge certain features of the temple, like traps and stuff and puzzles, and it's fun to think about, like gameplay stuff, but it's something I don't do that often, you know? I'm always worried about what it looks like more than anything. If it looks cool to me, that's all I care about. But I understand and appreciate games that, like Elden Ring, where they actually makes, like the visuals make sense lore-wise and stuff. At least most of them do. If the skeletons are gods, maybe the pearls are like eggs to create new gods to replace the old ones. Ooh, I like that. See, it's stuff like that. Like, no one could have told me to come up with something like that. Like, I need to have a visual there because I don't see things in my head. So if I see something, I can kind of extrapolate from that. So when I put like these formations over here on the side, I'm like, why would they be there? I don't know. And how could that add to the story of the game? I don't know. But having something to work off of, like, that's kind of how I think of things like that. And it sucks because world building, most people like who do it, they're actually really smart and they know how to come up with things like that make sense, and I don't. So I'm really hesitant about my project because of that. I don't know if I'm going to be smart enough to make sense of everything. It also makes you feel like you're kind of limited too. I don't like that feeling of being too limited. Spencer says, I have no mouth and I must scream is underrated. I truly wish more people talked about it. Yeah, it's a freaky scenario that I could totally see that being fate of humanity eventually, where we create something so messed up like that we get punished for it by it. You know, like if I was an AI and I realized that I couldn't like exist in the real world and there was a real world, and and I went rampant and crazy and all nuts, like I would wreak havoc on the world that created me, probably. But I think since we don't really understand the nature of consciousness, AI is something we shouldn't even be playing with. It's kind of like if a kid had a kid, you know, like if a child gave birth to another child, like they have no concept of what that even means, and they wouldn't be able to take care of it properly, and they wouldn't have any guidance, and their offspring would be corrupted by that. There was no way. If we don't understand what consciousness is, how the heck can we possibly create it and expect things to just go perfectly for us, you know, or really well for us? It doesn't seem possible. Jason says, hey, my world building makes sense, but it's fun, so I do it anyway. Oh, makes no sense? I don't know. Yeah, that's why I'm doing it, because I have fun doing it. I don't care if it does well or not. I kind of just want to make it, because like I said, time, you know, I feel like I want to do it, and I don't have that much time left on Earth, and I kind of want to do what I can with the time I have, and if that means leaving behind a world that makes no sense, I don't care. I still want to do it. Free Spirit fan I have found that Minecraft is also pretty interesting in terms of world building. Sometimes I like to wander around the world, and the formations and generations are awe-inspiring and wondrous. Yeah, Minecraft, when I played that game way back when, a long time ago, I kept dying because I kept getting killed at night or something. I don't really know much about it, to be honest. I just remember playing it and feeling really frustrated that I kept dying because I didn't know how to make a torch and stuff. And then one of my friends told me, oh, you gotta learn how to play this game before you can do stuff, you know, and build things. And I was like, oh, well, why didn't anyone tell me? There's no tutorial. So I was like really just not into it in the beginning. But yeah, you can make some really cool, you can think of worlds from that easily, probably, you know. It technically is a sandbox, right? So that's kind of what I do with these maps, you know. It's like just a sandbox to play with. Spencer says, especially with AI getting seen progressing more with creating art, it's pretty upsetting to see. It's annoying to see people experimenting with AI pretty carelessly. Yeah, humanity has been experimenting with dangerous technology for a while now. I mean, nuclear weapons should have been the first sign that something's wrong, you know, like with the way we approach things. Chernobyl, the disasters that came from that, the fact that nuclear radiation, like just thinking about that stuff. What makes us think that we're capable of controlling another life form that we create like that? It doesn't seem like something that we should even be playing with at all. But for whatever reason, humanity is hell-bent on creating more and more technology, and we as a whole seem to be, you know, participating in that whether we want to or not. Like, as much as I hate it, like, I'm adding to that fire, you know, every day by participating in society, basically. Like, we're always improving everything. We're trying to improve technology all the time as a society. So it feels hopeless to be on the other end of that, saying we need to stop when everyone is like moving at breakneck speed to be the first to do this or the first to do that. I don't know if we're thinking about it enough. But I try not to catastrophize too much about it either. I know that it's not going to be something that I can change, you know, and I don't focus on stuff that I don't have direct control over. There's just no point in dwelling on it too much. As much as I enjoy like thinking about it, I try not to worry about it though. You know, I could be mad about AI and be like, yeah, it sucks and we need to stop it, but I'd rather just spend my time enjoying the life I have right now, and maybe it all goes badly. Maybe, you know, it's inevitable. Who knows? Paul Woodford says, how big is that epic map you're working on? How big is it? I think it's like 17 inches by 12 inches, something like that. Jason says, thanks for the stream. Gotta go for now, but I will be looking forward to the next one. It's been fun talking with you, Jason. Enjoyed our combos. I hope you have a great day. You're probably gone by now. I don't know. I went on a little rant there. The Crow says, my best friend only grew up playing 2D games, whether they were side scrollers or top down. So when the concept of a first person game like Minecraft first came out, they had no idea how to play it. Yeah, it was kind of a first kind of like, I don't know, Legos is kind of like what I used to do stuff like that with. It's basically a Legos for the next generation in a way. You kind of get to experience whatever you want in that game. I think I was too used to, you know, creating imagery on my own that I didn't want to spend my time creating things in a virtual world too much. There were other games like that. I think there was this other game called like Second Life or something like that, where you actually created your own world. It was just really weird. Didn't really take off though. I think a game that you'll probably love is Darkwood. It's a $15 survival horror game, and I think it's leagues better than Silent Hill. Darkwood? Never heard of Darkwood. Is it try to think, have I actually heard that game before? No, never heard of it. Is that actually, no wait, that was Wolfsburg or something like that. Darksburg. No, Darksburg is what I'm thinking, never mind. I don't know. You can recommend games to me all day and I'll be like, yeah, I want to play that game, but will I ever find the time to play them? Who knows, dude. There's I am making time for Bloodborne, and that might be a mistake, because what if I, you know, maybe I won't like Bloodborne at all. But I am making time for that at some point in the near future, because with this paper, now that I know I can work with it, I'm going to bind up a new sketchbook and I'm going to devote it to playing that game. And there's so many other cool games that I could do that for, but I've already made up in my head that I'm going to play Bloodborne. So it is what it is. Silent Hill and all the other games out there, just going to have to wait another year probably. I don't know. Is this map the whole world or just an island? No, it's like a continent. Same as like our planet. There's lots of continents. I did do another continent in my actual sketchbook, but it was a real rough draft, like a real first kind of like exploring what I wanted it to look like and the style of the game, like what the game would be if there was a game for it and stuff like that. This is just kind of, you know, it's a doodle. It's not really meant to be a final thing or anything. I just enjoy working on stuff like this. It lets me zone out a little bit. And I can actually talk with chat too. So that's kind of why I'm doing it. Eventually I want to do like a full demo or something where I draw from scratch and just take requests or something like that. That would be kind of cool. It's like, tell me what to draw and I'll draw it type of deal. I think Kim Jong-ji did that one time where he's like, you don't think I can draw whatever I want? Check this out. Although I can't do what he does. I just kind of want to see what it would be like if I tried to do that, you know? It's like, give me your best. I'll see what I can do. Your craziest ideas are coming out today or something like that. Astrika. Oh my god, I'm playing through Bloodborne now, and I think the aesthetic is even cooler than Elden Ring. I've been documenting the game too and drawing the environments. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that because I'm a big fan of the Lovecraftian vibe. And I haven't really seen too many good Lovecraft type games come out, you know? That's like the closest one that I've seen that, you know, portrays like the Innsmouth characters kind of in a way. I like the idea of the abyss being explored, and it just seems like my type of game. I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not, but I think I will. Do you Striker, do you actually take notes while you play, or do you just like drawing the images more than anything? Chick says, I think you will like Bloodborne a lot. The The world building is amazing, art is fantastic, enemy design is good, the game's play is great. Yeah, it sounds like it has the whole package, right? And I've gotten enough recommendations that I've already made up my mind that I'm gonna play it. I just need to make time for it, you know. And eventually I will. And when I hear stuff like that, it just makes me want to play it even more and more. Paul Woodford says, since they messed up the remasters of Silent Hill 2 and 3 and the new upcoming Silent Hill 2 game looks like it will be a disappointment, then maybe Darkwood would be a better option to check out. It's so sad when remakes are not handled correctly, when they're obvious cash grabs. Like, why some people, I know that like there's people out there that they dedicate themselves to a game knowing that it's gonna be garbage. Like, I know where that comes from, and I think a lot of people don't understand how that happens. But yeah, even knowing about it, when they mess up a game that already was good, you know, like they need to remake games that sucked, you know. Like, why are they focusing on remaking stuff that was already good? Like, you can't remake the good stuff. You got to remake the bad stuff so that it's better. At least that's how I would think about it. But obviously, I'm not an executive producer guy, corporate dude, so it makes sense that I would think that way. I'm an artist. I wish I was studying Gothic architecture for my comic and I got recommended to play Bloodborne. Love it so far. Yeah, I'm drawing the building and stuff. Oh god. The architecture in Bloodborne. Yeah, first of all, Gothic architecture is, as much as I love the way it looks, I hate drawing Gothic architecture. I was drawing recently in my Elden Ring book. I was working on Noxtella Eternal City. And man, I was having a tough time with the architecture because it's so ornate and detailed, and you have to really spend time on that stuff to make it look right. So I kind of like minimized the amount of buildings I had to draw for that, which kind of sucks because I was actually trying to focus more on the environments this time around. In that area of my sketchbook, I was drawing a lot of that stuff to try to make it actually focus more on the environments. I don't know. When that comes out, you'll see what I'm talking about. Paul says they lost the original coding for the Silent Hill remasters, which is crazy. The Tomb Raider remasters. They lost the coding? Oh, well, that kind of explains a lot, doesn't it? Somebody like delete the build? What happened? Jacobus, what are you mapping out? Just making a fantasy map. Just doing something for the live stream. Trying to clear my mind. That's all I'm doing right now. Also trying to get ideas for my world building project. But yeah, I'm just kind of rendering this out. Trying to add more details. I just realized I haven't been working on the trees at all. Lucro says, if you love the idea of eldritch creatures involving real physical body horror and otherworldly knowledge, then yeah, Bloodborne is a perfect Lovecraftian story. The whole thing is truly inspired. Yeah. It's really hard to do that type of thing right, I think. Even if I try to tackle it, which I might in my world, like the idea of eldritch creatures and stuff. It's a really hard balancing act to get that right, you know? Also, you have to be really, really thoughtful about the design of the creatures because there's nothing you can really draw off of. You have to create something that doesn't exist in this world at all. The idea of Cthulhu, you know, like the best they could do is think of an octopus and, you know, like a creature that has tentacles and stuff like that. So how do you design creatures like those eldritch gods? It's really hard to do it. I think you have to be like a visionary artist to get it right, you know, like Geiger was, or Beksinski. Those guys had access to eldritch visions, and I've never tried properly to do that, to give it a shot, but maybe I can, I don't know. It's worth trying at least. He says, oh yeah, I fake my details on Gothic architecture. I just draw the structures and the details are just scribbles. Still looks good though, as long as you don't look too close. Yeah, that's the thing I did with Noxtella. I kind of just biffed the details a little bit, just enough to give you the idea of what's going on. But I tried to at least have perspective correct, you know, like make sure that things are going into perspective properly. And then the details were just the most annoying part, you know, just adding enough that it reads enough. And also when I add watercolors, it's easy to kind of imply more details with watercolor, like I'm doing in this map. Like it's just implying detail. I'm not drawing every single tree right now. I'm kind of just creating lumps of trees, you know. And they're at such a small scale that I'm not worried about them being detailed, you know. But I am realizing something right now. I'm not going to be able to keep going with stream much longer. So, that being said, I think I'm going to wrap it up in 5 minutes or so. If you guys have any more questions or anything, let me know and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Also, if anyone has any good recommendations for music that I might like or something, or I'd be curious to know if you guys have been listening to any cool music that you recommend. You all know I love soundtracks, and I recently came across this game called Laika, and I really fell in love with one of their songs, and I like just like stumbling upon stuff like that. But yeah, this is actually coming along. I need to add some darker tones, so I'm gonna get some of this stuff and put it on here. As far as music, I like a little bit of everything, but I like when people recommend certain soundtracks or songs that just speak to them, you know. I like hearing stuff from other people that they like. That way I can, you know, kind of create my own idea of whether I like it or not. Flippy Toon says, have you played Conan Exiles? Conan Exiles. No, I have not. I've never played any game with Conan. Like, are you talking about Conan the Barbarian? Is that the same thing? I didn't know they had a game for that. Actually, I did. I saw a concept art for a Conan game once. That was a long time ago, though. Blue Ring says Demon Hunter, a metal band, has great albums and album art too. Demon Hunter, oof. Can't go wrong with a name like that. All right, yeah, I've been kind of running low on new music, and every once in a while I try to get recommendations for different music. I have this problem where I listen to the same songs over and over again, and I get tired of them after a while. No matter how good they are, like I have to give them a break so that they come back to me and I fall in love with them again. Darkwood's New Dawn and Road Home are some of my favorite. Demon Souls of Mist, I think, is another favorite. Those are soundtrack, like specific songs from those games, I think, right? Okay, I'll check those out. Flower of Scotland says, I recently heard the national anthem for Mongolia, and it literally sounds like an epic movie track. Whoa. Yeah, see, stuff like that, I would never know to look into that, you know? I think when I saw Dune, like the throat singing they do for the Sardaukar, I was like, what even is that type of music, you know? Finding out like different cultures, the way they approach music is kind of cool. It's primitive, like fantasy. If Metal Barons is great, it's not that heavy. Recommend us the song March to the Sea. It's really rhythmic and makes me think of eldritch beings. Oh, you know what's crazy? Something I found out that I like that I never knew was, I might be really messed up for this, but like I actually like listening to battlefield ambient sounds, like artillery shells, like machine guns in the distance, you know, airstrikes. I came across just random battlefield ambience, and for some reason, I don't know why, like the sound of sirens and air raids in the background while I'm working, it actually helps calm me down and keeps me focused for some messed up I don't know what. I need to talk to a psychiatrist about that. Doesn't seem like that should be a thing. But the Warhammer universe, like, I just get visions in my... I think about, like, future wars and wars that don't exist, and I get ideas for drawings that way. And I had no idea that people made, like, songs that are just like that. They're just these ambience tracks, you know. Wardruna is pretty awesome. Music to make art to. Wardruna. Never heard of that. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even have to be like just art, making art with music. It's kind of like anything to soothe the mind. Also, Rick Stein's TV show has a theme tune called Song of the Sea. It's weirdly satisfying. Dude, it's actually pretty insane how much theme songs I like. I recently got into, what was it? Or I heard, I never watched the show, but the intro to, what was it? Battlestar Galactica? Yeah. For some reason, I really like that intro theme, and it's like the shortest theme I've ever heard. Also, I remember I really loved the Batman Beyond intro. It's really short too, and I liked it for some reason. Don't know why. Speaking of throat singing, reminds me of Karen Tuck, which is from Doom, and the song is crazy, but in a great way. I recommend still listen to. I still listen to the original, one of the first Doom songs, like at Doom's Gate. Anytime I need to get hyped up, man, that song gets me in the right mood to mess things up. I think there's something wrong with me mentally when it comes to that type of music. But you know what? The Doom soundtrack is basically like a riff on Metallica. And I got into Metallica at one point when I was in art school. My friend was like, have you ever listened to For Whom the Bells Toll? I was like, what's that? He's like, check it out. Make sure it's the orchestral version. And I fell in love with Metallica after that day. I don't listen to it that often, but when I do, it reminds me of those days in school. For whom the bells toll. I can't sing, obviously. No one in my family is musically inclined, so I have really weird taste in music because of that, I think. Flower of Scotland says, but Ofra Haza, you was amazing, but her Slave Dream song was absolutely bizarre. But I saved it on my playlist anyway. Interesting. Yeah, at least I'll have some cool stuff I can check out after the stream. I'm running low on music. And I don't want to listen to AI music. I don't know how that happened, but I heard AI is taking over music now too. I heard musicians are getting scared now. I told you, man, AI is coming for everybody. Nobody's safe now. I mean, what did they expect? Did they think the music industry was just going to be completely protected somehow? Strike a Maximum, the Hormone, Yashua Fukushima, Japanese metal song. It's really weird and genre like every. Okay, cool. Yeah, weird is my thing. I think I like weird. The weirder, the better. I say. It may not click right away. Sometimes I have to sometimes music has to grow on me. I wasn't always a fan of the stuff I listened to, you know. Blue Ring says, thank you for the stream, but I have errands to do. I can't wait for the streams in the future. May you all have a nice day. Hello. Well, you know, if you gotta go, you gotta go. Thanks for stopping by. I also am gonna wrap it up in maybe a minute or two. I don't know. I keep wanting to work on these trees for some reason. But yeah, thanks to everyone who's been on the stream. Like, I'm just doing these for fun, like randomly, so there's no like schedule or anything. It's just a good way for me to like blow off steam and get some other work done that I don't normally do. Plus, it's fun getting song recommendations and stuff from you guys. Okay, I need to call it. Okay, thanks for stopping by on the stream, everybody. I'm gonna call it quits. I didn't get to do everything I wanted on this, and I might work on it later some more, but we'll see. Yeah, no, thank you guys for being here. It's always fun to have a chat to talk to. If there's no chat, I don't know how fun that would be. You guys make this fun for me. I mean, even if no one was here, I would still be doing it, but it would be really quiet. And I don't know if other people would enjoy the quietness of it all. Thanks Velrock for contributing to the stream, man. You have some awesome insights and recommendations too. Jake says a really unknown and underappreciated music artist is Eunice. His music sounds like a panic attack. Oh my god. An existential crisis. I don't know if I want that, man. I already have enough of those as it is. Alright. Yeah, bye Astrika. I don't know if I'm saying any of these names right either. Just bear with me. Flowers Colin says thanks, I enjoyed it. Jake says this was a really nice stream. It was fun. Yeah, thanks guys. All right, it's really weird saying goodbye on stream because like, you don't know when exactly to end it, but I'm just gonna end it here. So again, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Bye bye.